morning and welcome to Cactv, and this is the Morning Dew, a newspaper review. It's a cold weather in Nigeria right now. In fact, I think this rain is actually everywhere and not just in Lagos, because I am cold, and this is the part where you need a very hot tea. You know, that kind of tea that you would literally see the dew coming up and you're like, oh my goodness. Okay, Bishop, am I the only one feeling cold this morning?
Well, as it is, Nigeria is wet.
It's wet.
Because it's raining and we are feeling it, and it's making me ask for more. That this rain don't stop. As it is, Nigeria don't deserve.
No. We this actually want it to stop.
Be a permanent rain.
Because the traffic when you're going back.
Wait, it's not causing flood. So that's a good one.
Says who? That's from the parts of the world where you're coming from.
This power company charge for you when you on AC. Hey, but at this moment you don't need AC. You just open your window a little
and let it just cool.
And you put your fan on the lowest. You don't need AC, so your meter will not read.
Engineer,
good morning to you, everybody.
No, engineer is actually not feeling this cold. This weather is not getting to him at all.
I tell you one thing: if it is in Ghana, you see, weather has brought itself.
Oh,
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Interesting. I wish I understand that part, but so okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stay tuned to all our social media network. Feel free to drop your comments on Cactv and drop your comments, drop your questions. Your contribution are highly welcomed, and we'll be so glad and delighted to read and also hear from you. So we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take the stories making headlines around the globe. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yeah, welcome back. So let me quickly take the quote for the day, and that's from the book of Psalms chapter 46 and verse 10. It says, "Be still and know that I am God." So I don't know what the issue is. God is speaking to you from this scripture, that peace and be still, just like he said to the storm and the wind that almost took their boat, that peace be still. So whatever that is after you or that you are after, you just have to look at that issue and say, peace be still, and so shall it be. Find peace in stillness, knowing that God is in control and always present. So you are not alone, and God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, so let's take the news making headlines, and first we'll start with the Punch newspaper. So starting with the Punch newspaper.
and the money that is going out. Look, for example, in the past we had Kemi Adeosun. You know, Kemi Adeosun was removed due to, I don't want to go deep into that, to certain things. She was removed because of what? Accountability.
Yeah, there was no
She was
clarity.
raising questions that this amount of money that you said has been, you know, accrued by the government from people that have, that this money that have been taken back from the government, from people that have embezzled government money. What has happened to that amount of money? She was removed. Now, President Tinubu is now saying, okay, I want to probe certain Nigerian companies, inclusive of Central Bank of Nigeria. And moving towards this, he has appointed a man. Okay, you have to head the committee.
An expert.
An expert. And you have to report directly to me. I want you to audit the account of CBN. And the report is coming out now that the man has found discrepancies in the account of CBN. You know, so I think it's a good thing that what the government is doing, that Mr. Jim Obazi, no, he should continue the good work he's doing, and then he should not be sentimental or apply what is known as favorism. Oh, this guy is from my town, is from my village. No, he has to be transparent on what he's doing, and I think the boat will land at a very suitable island. All
right, thank you so much. So, Dapa, what's your view?
You see, just to add to what engineer said, let's not forget that the president is an accountant. And if you are doing a business, or whatever business you are doing with an accountant, the first steps, you know, you are likely to see in that business is transparency. Because they must make everything align with their own view of profession. So the president, being an accountant, has, you know, done justice to have set up an expert to look into the CBN activities. For me, you know, for some people it's a witch hunt, but for me I think it's a good hunt, because credibility is also, accountability
is also important.
Is key to success.
Exactly.
This is how we can, you know, and this shouldn't be limited to, you know, people they have grievances with. Because I remember Godwin Emefiele in those days while he was in office, that those that want to fight me, God, let us fight. Fight has started. So I just pray that, you know, he finds his way out of this, because I think his hands are really messy at the moment. But beyond that,
there is a lot
the president should extend this to other sectors. That way we can have it, you know, everybody can sit up. You know,
there'll be clarity and transparency,
credibility and you know, accountability on whatever we're doing as people.
All right, thank you so much. So we'll take a look at the second story that we have, and this says Pengassan reacts as Dangote refineries misses production deadlines. The 650,000 barrels per day Dangote refinery is yet to begin production after August commencement date. Earlier announced by the president, Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, while delivering a speech at the official commissioning of the refinery by former President Muhammadu Buhari in May, he said, "Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, our first product will be in the market before the end of July or beginning of August this year." However, no drop of refined petroleum products from the refinery has hit the market weeks after the promised production deadline. According to findings by the Punch, spokesman for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Gambardine, in June, said that the company would cut down its fuel import programs in August once the Dangote refinery begins to push out refined petroleum products latest August. So that's another story that we find from the Punch. So for further stories, you can go through the Punch newspaper and then read in full details. So basically, you know, seeing this happen, and I think is one of the things that we do not pay attention to, or we don't keep to our words when it comes to, you know, Nigeria. Naturally, we don't keep to our words. I don't know why we have that problem, not saying one thing and doing what you say, and not do another thing. Now, if you had given your word that, okay, before the end of June or before August, you would have this refinery, I hope it's not just something that we would say, and then, because I remember when we spoke about last month that we have refineries started, but then we don't have it finished. You know, how many refineries do we have? And then we are not able to produce, you know, have productions, you know, from these refineries. And yet this is the only one that, okay, we have said, okay, we're looking forward to, and then nothing is happening. What exactly is going on? What's your take on this?
Well, for me, I think this is not an indictment to Aliko Dangote, because that speech was already, you know, prepared and delivered, and that is why it has been quoted in that
of course
paper. So they should be, I think the government of the day should look into that matter, because it has really, I think that was what the government considered to have withdrew the what did they give on the subsidy removal. So
you know, in the hope that, yeah, you know, we will have our productions
when
coming up soon
starts, so it will be an ease up, you know, for the country. But it has been hell ever since the subsidy removal, and this is because there was a wrong promise, an ungenuine promise from the Dangote group from Dangote refinery to bring, you know, a running refinery that will produce 650,000 barrels per day. So that's huge. It would have been a blessing if they have started. But as it is, that it's like, you know, it will open anytime soon. Only the government can affirm when the due date that it will start and, you know, running. So that's all I can say about that.
You see,
Engineer,
we normally say information is power, information is knowledge, information is key.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that now. The former president of Nigeria inaugurated the refinery that by August, say July ending,
should be up and running.
By August or so should be up and running, and it is not. And so many factors are affecting the refinery that it is unknown to ordinary Nigerians on the road. But it's known to those people who are the owners of the refinery. I think it has to do with fund. I don't want to go into details on that because we have said this before now. Some specialists were saying that the refinery cannot start operation even in December. He said maybe they were wrong. But I do not know why the former president was in a hurry to open the refinery. Now the refinery is not working. And now the importers of petroleum into this country, let's say petrol, are now saying,
well, for me, I don't believe, I do not think that is the fault of the former president for wanting to, you know, launch that before his tenure elapses. But for Aliko Dangote, who understood this thing and how long it will take, he should have been able to tell him, okay, sir, between this time and this time, it won't be ready. But he gave his words, and this is what we keep saying. You don't give your words when you are not sure of the certainty of what you're saying. So it's important that we know what we do and know what we say, because people definitely somehow hold you accountable for what you say, and that's what is happening. So people are making reference to what Aliko Dangote said, that by so and so time, by June or August, this would be done, this would be available. And now the question now is, why is this thing still lingering? Is there something that we need to know? Is there something that needs to be done? Or how much longer will this take?
I said it. I said the reason behind the refinery is known to the owners. I did not say owner. Owners of the refinery.
Exactly.
They know why they can't start now. You know, it's a matter of funding. You know, they got their funding from a particular place. Maybe the funding is not
incoming.
Forthcoming.
Yes, it's not forthcoming. So there's nothing they can do now. They have to look elsewhere for funding. Because sometimes we heard that a certain percentage of money was from Nigerian Central Bank, and maybe the money is not coming from CBN again now. So there are lots of maybes, but except the owner of the refinery that can come out and say, okay, this is the exact date we're going to commence operation. But as at now, we don't know. But the problem now is that what about those Nigerian petroleum importers? Because most of them are not importing again.
Yes, because they were dependent on the time.
Yeah, they depend on this. And then again, we are not looking forward that, okay, the refinery, Port Harcourt refinery will commence working in December by the president. That's why I used to say that, okay, let's wait for them and see. When politicians are talking, most of our civil servants are now becoming politicians. They say A when they mean B. In those days, in Lagos, when we were very young, we say, wherever you go, go. Do not say yes
when you need to say no.
To say no.
Bye,
God bless you. You shouldn't have said, oh, we will commence operation in August.
Honestly.
Now August is moving toward this. We are now in September, going to the month of ba till we reach December. But let's keep our fingers crossed. But I think our president will know what to do now to be able to find
tackle the situation.
To that particular problem.
All right, thank you. So we'll take the last story from the Punch newspaper, and this says that 2.9 billion naira fraud. Jonathan's godson, 2 others jailed 6 years. A federal high court sitting in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, has convicted and sentenced a former special advisor to Dan Abia, Eastwell managing director of the Delta Development Commission, George Turner, and 2 others to 6 years imprisonment for obtaining money under the false pretense. Okay, now the 2 others, Ebis Orubebe and Uzogo Chidebere, sentenced alongside Turner by preceding Judge Justice A.T. Mohammed, were also convicted of money laundering. So that's another story that we also find from the Punch newspaper. So behind the scene, Dapo, you made mention of something. So let it not come from me. So what's your take on this?
My take is fairness and justice, which is not always seen in our country on the regular basis. I love it anytime politicians are held accountable for their wrongdoings, for acts that are not good for the society. Take for instance this thing, people who work with who are in government sometimes take advantage of those privileges, and because of the power behind them and all, they tend to break laws and order, and nobody can even ask question. But anytime I now find a story telling that a social person was sent, I'll be like, oh, so powers can be sentenced. So for me, it's a good one for the court to have, nailed them to 6 or whatever they found as the exact sentence to put them to pay for their, crime. So we want more justice. What we are lacking in Nigeria is justice. People just commit offense
and they go scot-free.
And they go scot-free, and that empowers them to do more. Because the reward for any work is to do more. So when somebody does something bad and you don't cut that person and say, stop that person, you are by chance, you are indirectly encouraging that person to do more. That go ahead and do even more. So if a person steals 10 naira today or steal 1,000 naira and you don't say stop that, the person go ahead and take 1 million. If you now take 1 million and you don't stop, the person takes 100 until he gets to billion. And that's what we see. Most of our politicians, many of them who steal government money, if you track them to their family, they will be the one stealing from mommy's pot, stealing from daddy's pocket. They would have been stealing from underage. It's not something that happens when they get to the office. So if you are not a thief, you are not a thief. A thief is not a thief at in action. It's a progressive act. Such people, when they find their way to government house, they start stealing. And when there's nobody to say stop that,
they continue.
They continue. So we must encourage the court system to bring more justice to our country and rescue this country from corruption. It's really killing us.
All right, thank you so much for that. We'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll look at other stories that we have. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This particular program is actually meant to provide mass education opportunity for us. So the first thing you need to consider under presumption phase preparation by schools is that, number one, there must be thorough cleaning of the environment. This is very, very important. It will be easy for the government agency to properly do
Welcome back from that short break. You're still joining us on the Morning Dew, and this is still the newspaper review. Like I said earlier, always feel free to join us on our social media and drop your comments, drop your questions, and make sure you share and like, because we are always making sure that we keep you updated and informed. So looking at the further stories that we have, we'll take the next story, and this one says UAE lifts visa ban on Nigeria as Emirates Etihad Airlines resume flight operation. Tinubu made my job easier for ending Nigeria. UAE diplomatic row Keyamo by John Bosco Agbakuru. So basically, we already know what that story tells. It's a good thing that we have visa lifted, and then people can have access to, go where they want to go, and then not being bothered about what they need to do next. So let me come to you, Dapo. What do you have to say?
Well, it's a good one for Nigeria. It's a good one for the president to have called off the visa ban that was placed on Nigerians. I think it's embarrassing for a country like Dubai to place a visa ban on Nigeria in the first place, and it's unfortunate that the former President Buhari regime could not stop it, and it's a really sick one to imagine that a country like Dubai, I don't know what makes Dubai
honestly so important,
so big to ban a Nigerian from entering their country. Because I don't know. Maybe some people see anything special about Dubai. Well, the tallest building, and then it's a beautiful city, of course.
Yes, for sight view and all of that.
For them to now place a visa ban on Nigeria in the name of some people at the time, some Nigerians had a fight or something, taking a bow or something, and that can happen in any country. And they went so to the point of, in fact, I think it was from age 40 that it really affected any citizen below age 40 are not allowed into their country.
But I think that
the Tinubu administration are taking that away. They got there, they see with their leaders, and then they lift the ban.
But for me, I think that they know that there is so much to gain from Nigerians, and that's why they are losing a whole lot. See, Nigerians, when it comes to business, when it comes to making impact in a certain country, we are good at it. So I'm sure that they've also seen the value Nigeria is putting in.
I'm sure that banning Nigeria is banning blessing.
Honestly, because we make things happen business-wise.
Like, a country like Dubai.
You know it's
what and look at the UK, the way they open up their border. What they are benefiting from Nigerians is the few times that Nigerians
honestly they can't survive it if they leave it for so long
on their revenue. And you are there banning Nigerians.
I have a contrary opinion to what you are saying.
Okay,
it's good that you have that.
Because if you are doing business in a foreign land and you have to remit back your earnings in the country. Foreign airlines have been coming to this country, and if at a time it became difficult for them to send money back home. For example, Emirates Airline and Etihad, these airlines were coming from Dubai, and all the money they made in Naira was difficult for them to send home because of Apex Bank, because of the foreign exchange. It was difficult. That is the main reason why the airlines said they would not be coming to Nigeria. But on the visa ban, there are so many factors. We all saw what is seen on TV, where Nigerians were brandishing cutlass on the road, caught people fighting on the street of Dubai. So we can't blame their government. You understand? At the same time, we cannot blame Nigerian government. But we have to really talk to our citizens that when you go out, you become an ambassador of your country.
Exactly.
You have to represent your country very well. Imagine, okay, last week I read it again in the news that Nigerians were fighting with the policemen on the street of Pakistan in Lahore. So what are we going to say to that? We are not the only foreigners in foreign land. We must learn how to behave. Have you ever seen a British man fighting on the road in Nigeria?
Engineer,
yes.
This is my point. Do you recall this young man that attempted to bomb one U.S. Airplane at the time?
Yes.
Was he a Nigerian?
No, it was not a Nigerian.
Now imagine the U.S. Government placing a ban
on
the country that
for a
boy
single person's
represents, or the Osama bin Laden country. The 9/11. It was just yesterday or so that they had the anniversary.
Okay.
This is my point. That if there has been an offender, take that person, send whatever person line of action that person needs to suffer. Go ahead with it. Okay. Not that you place a ban. A country is an institution.
Okay.
It's not. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, let me give you a scenario in Dubai. Or let's say the Arab world. If you are staying in the country, you are sojourning in the country and your visa expires, they expect you to leave the country. Some will not leave the country. They will be dodging, and at the end of the day, they will be able to secure employment and come back home to get employment visa to be in that country. But some will manipulate their visas to overstay in such country. There are many abuses that we can talk about.
And those are the people that they should deal with.
One thing I want to note is that, okay, I'm a Nigerian, so I don't have to talk bad about Nigeria on the screen. But at the same time, I said the government should be able to culture Nigerians. When you are going abroad, you are representing good image of Nigeria, not bad image of Nigeria. We know what Nigerians are doing outside the country, but we cannot be boldly saying it on the air. But what we are saying is that we have to be cautious. Before you can say, I want to put ban on Nigerian visa, That means Nigeria is enjoying UAE, UAE is enjoying Nigeria. It's a commercial center. Most people in the world go to UAE because there you can own a business 100%. You can establish your business in Dubai today, either in Sharjah or in Dubai or in Abu Dhabi, and you own your business 100%. There are lots of Nigerian medical people who are working in Dubai. There are lots of Nigerian medical doctors who are working in Dubai. There are lots of Nigerian engineers who are working in Dubai. They work as skilled workers. I was once working as an engineer in Saudi Arabia. There was no problem with that. But one thing that when you have people that are going beyond their boundary, what are we going to say? In Nigeria, we have our own law. There are so many Indians we have jailed in Nigeria. There are so many Chinese we have jailed in Nigeria because of various offenses. So if they say they want to stop the visa for a reason, and our president has gone there to say, look at the mutual benefit between the both of us. Don't stop the visa. Whatever is your problem, we'll look into it. Whatever is our problem to here, look into it. So the problem will be solved. That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming Nigerian people. I'm not blaming Dubai people, but I'm saying we should be cautious of the way we act. Look at the example of what happened in Pakistan. Nigeria were brandishing cutlass on the road, telling the policeman, kill me, shoot me. What does that mean?
Yeah, doing the right thing is very, very important and essential. So we'll take a look at the foreign scene right now. The story we'll take is the New York Times. Aid trickles into Moroccans stranded by quake, but desperation mounts. This says the government defended its response to the earthquake as robust. Okay, but some residents desperate for basic supplies say they feel abandoned. Government rescue workers began to react to reach some devastated mountain villages in Morocco on Monday, but many more settlements were waiting desperately for help 3 days after the country was hit by the strongest earthquake in the area in more than a century. In the town of Amismis, at the foot of the High Atlas Mountain in the province of Al-Aus, more ambulances and uniformed emergency personnel were on the streets than on Sunday, and more survivors appeared to be sheltering in disaster relief tents rather than in makeshift structures. Okay, structures. Okay, so that's another story that we have from the foreign scene, and I think we'll stop there for now. So I'll come to you, Engineer Ola. What do you have to say on this?
Earthquake is a natural disaster that happens, but in most part of the world, where we have earthquake, especially in the West, there must be a warning that there is supposed to be an eruption, but at a particular time. So to caution the citizens to move away what are movables for that particular scene. But this occurred, became an accident very, very disastrous. But people are saying that the help is not enough. That there are still many people are trapped under the rock that's searching for them. So what the people are saying is that what is happening in their country, they are crying for help. They still need more help, and I believe that foreign countries are supposed to respond quickly and assist them in this particular situation, because it's a very sad event.
Honestly, it is.
And there's nothing, all these natural disasters that we cannot stop, we cannot prevent.
And that's why they're natural.
It's natural, because when you have tsunami, you cannot prevent tsunami, you can't stop tsunami. You have to abide with it. Some may come with warning, some may come without any warning. And once it has happened, we have to quickly respond to it and rescue people. So I believe what is happening in that country is that people are saying that the response from their government is not enough. So they should do more to save lives.
I also think that other countries should also come together and see how they can help out, because in cases like this, it's not something an individual country can do by themselves. It's like we said, it is natural. It is called natural disaster, and it's not something they have a hold of, because if they do, I'm sure they would have done something on before that that time comes. And it's so sad. I feel for them, because you wouldn't, I keep telling people, you wouldn't understand what they go through because you haven't experienced it. So when you tell me that I understand, it means what aspects of you understanding are you talking about? Because we can't really feel what they go through right now. So it's so sad, and our prayers goes to them a whole lot, and we say that may God keep them and protect them, protect their lives, and make sure that God bless them with all that they need to do so that all will be well. So do you have something to say? Let me take from you lastly. Okay, so quickly we'll go to the world of sport and see what we have from the world of sport. Yeah, as much as I know that I really do not know much about sport, but I'm always eager and excited to hear what we have from the world of sport. So stay tuned, we'll be right back shortly.
Yes, you're welcome back. It's still your Morning Dew program. Thank you for staying tuned with us. And now we go to sports. NFF budgets 14.5 billion naira to 2024 expenditure, I beg your pardon, arising from a 79th annual General Assembly in Uyo yesterday. The Nigerian Football Federation has made a budget proposal of 14,494,469,293 naira for only for the year 2024. The AGM had in attendance the Honorable Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owan Eno, and the NFF in its communique was effusive with praise for both the minister as well as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for their unalloyed support for the Federation's activities. The NFF President Ibrahim Gusau said in his welcome address, praised the federal government of Nigeria, in particular His Excellency, for its tremendous support and understanding of the demands of the game of football, and his approval of a special fund for the Super Falcons campaign in the FIFA just concluded FIFA World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, and prayed for greater support for the NFF, the national teams, and the Nigerian football in general. Also in sports, UFC Fernandez shines as Portugal lash Luxembourg in record 9-0 win. It's been long since we hear this kind of scoreline in football, but Bruno Fernandes ran the show for Portugal as they romped to a record 9-0 win over Luxembourg on Monday without suspended talisman and all-time top goal scorer Cristiano Ronaldo. Roberto Martinez's side have now won all 6 of their qualifying games without conceding a single goal and scoring 24 goals themselves. With this, the country's largest ever victory. Portugal lead the group J standing 5 points clear, third 3 points behind Slovakia. So that's it for sports today. And it's been long since we have this kind of scoreline, just like I said, 9-0, 9 goals to nil.
If there's one thing I'm always looking forward to is having my child grow and being like Cristiano Ronaldo, because
okay, so
this guy is doing so much. He's doing so much, and he's not looking at retiring anytime soon. And I'm not praying that he does that anytime soon, because he's making them proud as far as football is concerned.
Most people don't see it that way, because some people are fans of Ronaldo, some people are fans of Messi. Okay, so if we put it on the table now, you will see people's reaction that, oh no, they don't believe that Ronaldo is doing well other than Messi.
Well, they are both good in their own strength. So we'll still have to give it to whosoever is making us proud at the moment. Exactly. So I give it up to him. He's doing us proud. He's doing well, and kudos to him. So thank you so much for coming on board to give us that highlight on the world of sports. So we'll be right back shortly after this break. Please stay tuned. Yes, thank you so much for staying tuned. Every good start have a good end, and this is where we'll call it a wrap on today's newspaper review on Morning Dew. So I still remain your wonderful host, Modot Dominic, and
I'm saying to you all, God bless you, God bless Nigeria. See you tomorrow.
Engineer.
Well, to the viewers at home, be Nigeria.
Bye, Nigeria. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful day ahead. Bye for now.